I'm trying to just make my screen a little bit without you seeing how much clutter there is. You can see the clutter, can't you, above my head? We'll just have to all get over that, won't we? It's just the joys of living in a motorhome is that there is often things just around you because there's nowhere for them to go. And I can see at the top of my screen there are a number of things like up here. We just wipe those away. Anyway, there they are. So welcome to Friday's live. And it's lunchtime for Eleanor. And it's all sorts of other... It's morning for Violet. Good morning, Violet. Lovely to see you here. It's all sorts of different times of day in all sorts of different parts of the world. I know that thing when people have a drink early on in the day and they say, well, it's 5 p.m. somewhere. Thank you, Sunita. I'm okay, actually. I'm doing okay. Well, we'll be talking a bit about how I'm doing today on the subject of today. Hello, Mike. Lovely to see you. Today we're going to be talking about being triggered from the perspective of the 3 principles, from a perspective of inside out. And I think I've talked about being triggered before, but I've got quite a juicy story to share that's kind of come up over the last 24 hours or so. So I hope it will be helpful for you to see that I also have things that I guess the thing to say is I need to bring some awareness to. You know, it happens to us all. And lovely that everybody's saying hello to everybody in the chat. But let me know where you are in the world. If you are local to me, just a postman walking past, appears to be talking to himself, but he could be on the phone. Oh, wow, that's amazing, Violet. You have a story to share about your vacation and how letting go of control saved me. Do you know what? It's one of those things where, you know, on Instagram now, I could bring Violet on. We can have a chat about that. I can't bring Violet on. Maybe I should message the Insight Timer gods and say, can you make that happen? Can I just pull a person into the conversation and kind of hop them in? You know, like you can do that on Facebook Lives, I think, can't you? And Instagram Lives, you can hop another person into the conversation. I can see Wendy at the bottom there. I imagine it's cosy in Turkey today. If you did a Zoom and put it on Insight Timer with OBS, I can do that. Oh. You had an Insight Timer live with another teacher. Violet, I'd love to know how you did that, because a friend of mine, Michaela, who you may have come across if you've looked at the 3 principles, she's my friend in Michaela, another teacher on here who teaches 3 principle stuff and other stuff. But we do a podcast together, which we haven't released yet. We will release it eventually. We've got quite a lot of episodes now, so when we do release it, it'll be quite cool because there'll be quite a lot of episodes to go at. And it's called Navigating Life with Ease is the podcast. And it would be really cool if we could do a live together. Oh, Violet, well, let's connect then and then book like a 1-to-1 or something. We can have a right good chat. You can help me with my tech and I will help you in whatever else way I can. We can just have a really good connection and a chat, Violet. That would be lovely. Thank you. I'd really love to find out more about that, because I think that would be fun as well to do lives with. I'd like to do some live coaching on Insight Timer. Like get somebody on and actually do a proper coaching conversation with somebody and show that kind of journey that somebody can go on a conversation with me. So that would be really good. Thank you, Violet. Let's talk about that. So welcome to those people who are still coming in. I'm going to mention it now and then probably at some point later that these sessions are brought to you by donation. If you find this helpful today, if you go away feeling less triggered, if you feel triggered by the session, I mean, that's no good, is it? But, you know, if you go away feeling a little less triggered, then, yeah, a donation would be lovely. And that would support me and Insight Timer on sharing what we, sharing what I love to share and helping other people to access all sorts of things on here So much free content. It's such an amazing platform. And your donations support Insight Timer and me in making that happen. So a little bit about me in brief. Who's new, by the way? Let's see, we've got one guest, visitor person. They're called guests, I think, aren't they? When I first started on here, I used to think that the little bowl at the bottom, when somebody is a guest, they just show up with a white circle with the Insight Timer logo in the middle of it. And I, like many Insight teachers, thought that was people checking up on our lives. So we all got some, I think, got a bit, oh, have I said all the things I'm supposed to say? Have I mentioned donations? Have I followed the rules of what to do an Insight Timer? But now I know it's just somebody who's logged in as a guest today. So there you go. So yeah, we're not being spied on by Insight Timer. Oh, well, that one, if you click on it, says an Insight Timer teacher, so I think it is. Oh, you can click on them. It says peaceful. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Oh, do you know, I did not know you could do that. There you go. Sometimes it says guest Violet. Anyway, whoever you are, show yourself. You don't have to do that. I'm just joking. So let me know if you're new here. I can see I've got lots of regulars. I know I have lots of regulars on a Friday, which is rare. I like all my sessions. It's the Wednesday one I'm just not sure about the timing of. I keep moving it around. I can't quite find a vibe with it. I like Monday and Tuesday being at 3:50 p.m. and they will be at 3:50 p.m. next week. I've already scheduled them, and this one will mostly be Friday at this time. I think next week it might have to be a little bit earlier because I do have a client, unless I can get him to slide his session a little bit further back. Well, don't worry, Danielle, because at some point in the not too distant future it might appear on my YouTube channel. Oh, maybe not. 2 p.m. Eastern didn't seem to be a good time. What time is that on my time? So 2 p.m. I'm 5 hours later than that, aren't I? So that'd be 7 p.m. would it? For me. That's interesting. So I suspect that would be a peak UK time, Violet, 7 p.m. Where a lot of people have got the babies to bed and, you know, they might have a few minutes to sit down and watch after dinner, after work, that kind of thing. But I've never done one in an evening. I have to say I'm not a big, I tend to do chat to some clients on an evening, but I don't do masses of work on an evening. I am a morning person, really am a morning person. So let me know if you're new here, if you've just found me and how you found me and what brought you here. And let me know where in the world you are. What's brought you to this particular session? I'm always interested. And tell me what your thoughts are on triggers. Like, what do they seem to be at the moment? And let's see if by the end of the session, I think the postman is on the phone while he's doing his deliveries. He's gone down this side. So we're just in a street at the moment, a random street near my fiance's little boy's school, because we're going to go pick him up from school. Bruce is going to go pick him up from school in a little while. So triggers seem to be past hurts for you. Thank you for sharing that, Violet. We might explore that. Interestingly, they probably all come from past hurts. What brings you here? Brilliant teachers, Eleanor. That's so lovely. Yeah, I think there are. I dip in and out of things a bit more than I used to now, just to explore what other people are sharing. There's always something else to learn, isn't there? So a little bit about me. I'm known as the Queen of Calm. I help people experience transformation by teaching them a really simple understanding about how the mind works, which is known as the 3 principles or the inside out understanding, the premise of which is that all our experience comes from the inside out. You're a projector, not a camera. You might think you're a camera. We all think we're cameras some of the time. We're going around seeing stuff in the world and that's making us feel a particular way, and you know, we go around like this, looking at the world and taking a picture of it and experiencing it. That's not really how it works. It's really, we're projectors. we're creating it all. Now, that doesn't, I'm not going to go like deeply non-dual on you and tell you there isn't a world out there and not things out there, because, you know, if we're going to live in the world of human form, I'm not sure, or I mean, I might see one day, but I'm not sure of the point of denying the existence of stuff and people and things in life. But how we see those things, how we experience those things is our unique reality that we create via our perspective, via how we think. And you're right, Violet, really, like the stuff we've experienced in the past creates that way that we look at the world, which is why it's so unique to everybody. Because even twins, or, you know, two children born at the same time, brought up in a house in a similar way, will have a different perspective on life. Even Siamese twins, which, you know, there's two young girls, isn't there, who still exist as Siamese twins as young adults now, and they are such different characters. And who knows and I don't think, much as psychology has tried to poke around in that and try and find the answers to why some people do some things and some people do others, and some people do horrible things, and why do some people get a mental illness and some people don't, etc. Even though psychology has explored that a lot, they can't really find the answer in the past. We just know that the past is why we think the way we think now. And when we're looking at this from an inside out three principles perspective, we're looking at our experience in the moment. Like right now, why are you feeling, thinking, and behaving the way you are? It's on that level. It's not like what came in the past. It's not what's coming up in the future. It's just in this moment. And I think that's what makes it quite unique, really, because I think a lot of the things that we might do to feel better, tools and techniques and strategies, they're often geared around how what we're doing will make things better in the future, whereas the three principles is about the capacity that we have, and that we all have, this innate well-being, this capacity we all have to have a different experience of something right now, despite that thing not changing. Not this is a piece of work you need to do over a long period of time, and you must do this technique every single day, and eventually when you've done it for long enough, you'll have a nicer experience of these parts of life. It's not that. It's you know, realizing that this capacity to have a nicer experience is available right now, and it's only ever a thought away. It's only ever a breath away, and that's cool, and it's a lovely place actually to start this conversation at the moment around triggers. If you want to find out more about this understanding that I'm talking about here, I have lots and lots of free tracks. I'm not putting quite so many free tracks on at the moment. I'm reviewing my track strategy, but there are already a lot of free tracks on here. And I also have 5 courses that you can access. The Sustainable Calm, the one that kind of goes with the title of these sessions, Sustainable Calm with the 3 principles, is the course that I would start with if you've not come across me before. And I can see there's lots and lots of people who've come in since I've been introducing myself, so please do say hello in the comments. Let me know you're here. Let me know what brought you here, and let me know, you know, I can see lots of familiar faces along the bottom, but let me know where in the world you are today. And what time is it? What's the weather like? It's quite hot again in the UK. We're having one of these Indian summer. I call it an Indian summer in this country. I don't know if it's because it's summer in India now or what. Anyway, that's what we do. And we seem to be having one of those, which is just, the poor kids have literally this week just gone back to school, and the weather's turned and it's been boiling hot since they went back. And Bruce's little boy has gone back to school in a full blazer in a school where they're quite strict about keeping uniform on, so it's probably going to be quite a hot boy by the time he gets here. Kathy, back from your holes yesterday. So you brought the sun back to Manchester. Sunny in Manchester. I mean, we're really pushing the boat out there, Kathy, aren't we? If it's sunny in Manchester. So I hope you've had a lovely holiday as well. Yeah, we're heading back today. We've been away since, oh, I don't even know when. We've been away for 2.5 weeks now. So, and we're heading back home today to the house. So that's going to be interesting. I haven't been there for a while. It'll seem very big. It always seems very big when we first get back from being out away in the motorhome, but it's going to be nice as well. We're briefly off again on Monday, but that is just take the daughter back to uni day. Yay! So mostly moving boxes and bags and stuff and getting her settled into her new house. Where, update folks, she is going to be living on her own without the boyfriend who ceremoniously dumped her just over a week ago. And she's doing really well. To see her ability to change, you see how she's just naturally changed her view of it all. You know, she's still dumped, she's still not with a boyfriend, and she's just okay. Carol, 51st, 50. I'm just gonna have a word with the teeth for a moment. 51st wedding anniversary. And Char, that's lovely. Wendy, is it your birthday? Happy birthday. Have you told me it's your birthday in the chat and have I missed it? Or does Char just know you in a different way? Happy birthday. I feel like we should sing, but the thing is, what would happen is you would all be singing in your houses and I'd be singing in my motorhome. And I'd be the only one embarrassing myself by singing. Oh, it's not your birthday. You were talking about the temperature. That's so funny. I did think it's. I see now what's happened, Char. It's not Wendy's birthday. We could sing happy birthday anyway, but we won't. So let's get cracking on what we're going to explore today. So as I'm talking, the first little part, I tend to just have a little wind, a gentle meander through the subject, and then when I've done that, I'll come to you, lovely people, in the comments. So do be considering things that you might want to share, but don't worry if I don't come to your comments as I go along. I did used to do that, and I actually found that quite distracting. And no doubt you did as well, because you probably struggled to keep up with what I was talking about. So let's get cracking with being triggered. So I'm going to start with a story. I know you love a story. So yesterday morning, so today is the first time that Bruce is picking his son up from high school, first week of high school, picking his son up from high school and taking him straight home to our house. Because in previous to this, his mum has always insisted that we picked him up, that Bruce was allowed to eventually, it took a lot of persuasion, that one day out of 10, Bruce could pick his son up from school on the Friday that he was coming to our house. But then she insisted that Bruce then took Ethan back to her house, stood around while he got changed, and then set off, which often meant that Bruce would hit horrible traffic, be stuck in traffic with Ethan for like 2 hours because it's a 50-mile trip, but the roads that Bruce has to go on can be just awful. And so, you know, when he started high school, we said, look, can we just pick him up from... Am I freezing sporadically? My signal's a bit ropey, I think. Just a moment. It says I'm bad. Let me see. Do you know how your Wi-Fi is, darling? No, but could I possibly tether to your phone? Let me just try my phone. Oh, internet's not good. It's going in and out. Oh, I am already on your phone. That might be what the problem is. Let's see if I can swap to the... Right, let's see if that's better. that should be better. I was tethered to your phone, darling, so that might be why I was intermittently problematic. That's hopefully better now. Does that sound? Are we back on track? Shall I start the story again? Bother. Anyway, in brief, I'm good now. That's good, thank you. So in brief, we'd always picked Ethan up from his primary school. Bruce picked him up from school, took him back home, waited around for ages while he got changed and faffed around and blah, 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 and then got stuck in traffic, long journey home, etc. So this is the first time today that the plan, finally we've persuaded Mum that we can just pick Ethan up from high school and take him straight to our house. Thus, setting off a good probably an hour earlier, which means A, we'll be back home earlier anyway, but also we just miss the traffic because we won't be hitting the rush hour, which is going to be better. However, yesterday morning, Ethan's mum sent us a message saying about picking up, and then with a basically a quite rude barked instruction, which is what she does. I know I'm reading it as bark, but with a telling. She tells us what to do like we are children. And Bruce and I reacted to this message quite badly. We felt triggered, is the honest truth of it, and we did not handle it well. Either of us. We got really stirred up. We stirred each other up. We were like, what the heck's she doing? Now, to be fair to us and to be compassionate to ourselves, we have been in this loop, this relationship with this woman for 8 years of being spoken to like children. And it was interesting, actually, because as we reflected on it, as we calmed down and reflected on it, we both kind of realised that we did not like being told what to do. We didn't like being told what to do. And I would say there's probably not many adults who do. I mean, it's probably why I'm self-employed, and it's probably why Bruce is quite senior in his company. And, he was a head chef. He was the boss much of the time. He worked up very quickly in his career. So did I. We both wanted to be leaders. And I don't lead that way, and neither does Bruce. We're both quite compassionate and empathetic leaders, so we much more work with people from a non-didactic place, so we're not like that ourselves. So we both, when we reflected about what had happened, we really became very aware that we were reacting to being told what to do, but of course that we still need to own that reaction. We need to own the trigger. The trigger, although there is somebody behaving in a particular way that we don't like, the way we reacted to it, the way we experienced that trigger was from the inside out, not the outside in. But what's been really helpful is just to have this space of, with compassion for ourselves, but with an understanding that we have to, like I said to Bruce at one point, he was talking about what do we need to do to get a stop. We're always having these conversations about, we should just stop it. We're kind of wishing Ethan's life away so that we can have less and less to do with her and deal more with him directly. But then I said, but we must own this. We must be aware that this is us, that this is an inside out thing, that this sense of being triggered by somebody else's behaviour just is not the truth. It's not. It does not come from the outside. It comes from the inside. Now, what that never is, that is never, ever condoning somebody's poor behaviour. And, if you read some of the way this woman speaks to us, I'm fairly sure many of you would also shudder and go, oh, that's not how you get the best out of people. I think that's probably the way you might see it. I don't know how you'd see it, but I think, people may see it that way, that she's quite rude. However, back to our reaction, we have to own that. And what was really interesting was that we reacted and we wrote things from that place of reaction. And that it's not created a very good scenario at all, with her backing down and wanting us to still have Ethan go back from. So basically Ethan would have to go back from school on the bus to his home, and then be picked up by us and then driven back past his school again, because she's got so upset with how we've reacted to her telling us what to do. So she just then goes, right, well, so she then tells us that we're not picking him up from school. So it's really interesting to see how, when we come from that place of feeling triggered, and that's the thing, to, being triggered sounds like somebody's doing it to us, doesn't it? I'm being triggered. By feeling triggered has a different sense to it, and I think that's the way to look at it. We feel triggered. Why do we feel triggered? Because we've got some triggering thinking about something. Why did Bruce and I feel triggered on reflection and by bringing some self-awareness to it all? It was because we don't like being told what to do, which is fine. We're allowed to not like it. We're allowed to prefer not to be told what to do. However, because we didn't have an awareness in that moment, because we were both quite riled up, we didn't respond. We reacted. We reacted from the place of feeling triggered. Now, what really is a trigger? Well, if we think about that story about Bruce and I, it's to do with the things that we don't like, the things that we don't want to be part of our lives, the things that are remnant of past experiences. So, it's a remnant of being told what to do and realizing we didn't really like that. And for both of us, I think that became a career driver, that we pushed up to the top of the ladder. So, the higher up the ladder in a career you get, the less and less people you have telling what to do, don't you? Unfortunately, there tends to be more and more unpleasant people sometimes. But anyway, the higher up the ladder you go, the less people you have telling you what to do. And we both, I think, probably both craved that. And so when somebody spoke to us from a place of telling, we don't react well to that. So what's been really interesting to see, in the sense of life is happening for us, not to us, that I feel like I've learned something from this experience about us. We both can be now more clear of this awareness around not liking being told what to do, but know that when we're in a place of not liking being told what to do, we tend to react, we tend to feel triggered, and we then tend to put our great big feet in it, literally, and cause more problems than we solve. So going back to what a trigger really is, it is it's all inside. So it is us relating to something in a particular way, and often that thing, the way we relate to that thing, bringing about quite a strong sensation in the body. And they can come from all sorts of things. People will say a piece of music, a place. For example, if you go to a place that's got a memory of somebody who somebody you visited somewhere, like with an ex or somebody who you've lost, it can feel like that place is a trigger, can't it? But it can't be from the outside, because if it was, everybody who went to that place would have exactly the same emotional reaction as you. Everybody would be triggered. It's how we're relating to that place. It's how we're relating to that piece of music. It's how we are relating to that person's behaviour. This is not coming from the outside. And the reason we react to things that other people don't react to is our conditioning, is our thought in the moment. And, most of our thinking in the moment is some remnant of our past experience. And why is this helpful to see is because once we see this, we can start to bring some awareness to it. Like Bruce and I today, just going, oh, we don't like being told what to do. And that's why we've, frequently been in a place of feeling triggered by this woman, because she does a lot of telling us what to do. She decides and then she just tells us. She very rarely asks. She's done things like take Bruce's time away with no notice because she just doesn't want to do it. And if she doesn't get away with it, she then lies, which isn't very helpful either. So and also, talking about the past, I think, Violet, you mentioned the past, I guess there's a little bit of us coming from a place of weariness with that trigger because we've been through these kind of things over and over again. So all of us are having our own particular triggers. We're feeling those triggers, but we're feeling them from the inside out. There's nothing outside of there making us feel anything. It can't. So I'd love to know from you first of all, what you're hearing so far, because it's good to check in with you, because words are being delivered by me and words are being received by you. And it's always cool to check in every so often and see, what are you hearing here? What's resonating? What makes sense? But also to hear from you what you understand about triggers, what you've noticed about you. If you want to be vulnerable and share, you're in the right place to do that, because this space is a lovely space to share, a safe place, I think, and a place where people are very, very supportive and loving towards each other. So maybe there's something you particularly would like to explore, and I'm happy to explore that. And when we work it out, Violet, we're going to have people on to come and do that, because I think that would be really, really good fun. I'd really enjoy that. I'm quite happy to do live coaching sessions on here. It would be good. So, I mean, really, maybe I should have made the title "Triggers Are a Gift," because I would say, that the feeling of being triggered is like that amber warning light after, or yellow warning light, the middle traffic light. Okay, everybody's okay with red and green, aren't they? It's red for stop, green for go. But we call the middle light amber in the UK, and I understand other countries call it yellow or orange. Anyway, the middle traffic light. Be good if we could all agree with that. I'm coming on to that, Embeth. That's a brilliant thing to ask. What actionable things can we do when we're triggered? So this is that piece, Embeth. Hopefully you found this helpful. Because in these sessions, Embeth, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to point you in a direction of seeing that feeling in a different way. And from a place of seeing that triggered feeling in a different way, what occurs to you to do will emerge from your intuition, from your wisdom. That'll emerge from you. And it's different in different situations. It's different in different people. It may call on some of the tools and techniques that you've used in the past if they make sense to you. But it's where it comes from in terms of understanding that's the most important thing. So let's think about that initial feeling. Now, let me know in the comments where you feel that initial feeling. I generally feel it in my stomach. Sometimes like up the middle here somewhere, like a sped up kind of. It often feels urgent. It feels urgent, doesn't it? Like I've got to do something about this right now to make the feeling go away. It's like a sped up feeling, a really sped up feeling. Definitely a gut feeling, Hannah. Yeah, you agree, Danielle. Now that feeling, that initial trigger, maybe it's a trigger warning, isn't it? I feel like there should be some metaphor there with like it being on a hair trigger, they say, don't when people are easily upset. You feel it in, yeah, the solar plexus area. Yeah, it's kind of down. Sometimes it feels like it's something like down the middle here, between the heart and the gut, and it depends how much of it there is. But also like just a general jittery, sort of anxiety, itchy feeling. My daughter calls it an itchy feeling, like an itchy feeling. And I guess that's really interesting because like when you've got an itch, you just want to scratch it, don't you? Everybody's just going to go, oh, scratch it. It's so hard not to scratch an itch, isn't it? As soon as you feel that itch, you want to scratch it. Now, the best thing to do is probably leave the flipping thing alone and it will go away. But we don't, do we? We start scratching. And I used to have all sorts of like eczema and stuff like that. And I used to be terrible at scratching myself to the point of, breaking my skin. Because it feels urgent, doesn't it? And I think this feeling, this triggery feeling, has that same urgency to it, that we must do something about it now. We must get rid. How do we get rid of it? That's what it feels like, doesn't it? Oh, bless you, Sunita. In your solar plexus and behind your eyes, it makes you want to cry. Yeah, it does. It wells up like that for me sometimes too, but mostly it makes me rant. And that's the other thing to notice. What does it make you do? Or what does it seem to make you do? What tends to be your reaction to that feeling? So there's a lovely saying that I've shared many times before, and it is that, I'm going to find out who said it. I feel like I should credit this person. Somebody else said it, not me, but humans are the only animals who speed up when they're lost. So this is how I would love you to relate to that feeling, that trigger, that initial feeling we're talking about. We're all feeling it in quite similar ways, really. That is your amber warning light. It's all too easy to experience that feeling and think that that feeling is saying, do something about this. Do something now. Like for us yesterday morning, it seemed like we needed to send messages. It seemed like we had to get into an argument with this woman, Bruce and I. What we didn't see, and I've got better and better at seeing this. I don't know why. I don't go into the analysis of why, but in the moment yesterday morning, it just seemed like the only way to stop this nonsense was to retaliate, react to what she'd said. So Hannah, you feel freeze up when you're triggered sometimes. Yeah, that's the fear response, isn't it? Fight, flight, freeze. And it is in the seeing of this feeling as something different that changes everything. If we see it as coming from the outside, then it's definitely going to look like the only way to solve it is in the outside. Does that make sense? Of course, if you think it's the other person, if you think it's the past, it's possibly just despair. Like, what can you do about the past? Nothing. But if you think it's about a circumstance, if you think it's about a piece of music, if you think it's about a certain place, you might avoid that place. But it's all because we're trapped in this misunderstanding that it's the outside world making us feel this thing. So of course, for us from that perspective, we must do in the outside world to get rid of it. And sometimes we do quite a lot, don't we? Like I knew a woman who was advised by another coach to move countries to avoid the feelings she was having. She was very clear that she was being triggered by work, and instead of this coach helping her to see that work can't trigger you, she encouraged her to move countries. Not just move house or move jobs, but to move countries. And how many things do we do if we think that the outside world is triggering us, is making us feel something? have to do something in the outside world if we think it's coming from there, because that's self-preservation, isn't it? You know, you've got a system in you, a human system, a system that we all have within us, that sole purpose is to get you back to equilibrium. And if it looks like that equilibrium can be regained by doing something in the outside world, of course we will do things in the outside world. And to be honest, that doesn't matter whether that's a great big country house move, or, you know, a text message, or whatever it is. It's confusion. It's misunderstanding. And that's why, you know, I think I had somebody on the live the other day who said they did move country, I believe. And then after a short time realised that the better feeling wasn't even there. It's all inside. Now, in the moment, so this is going back to Beth's question. In the moment when we see it as coming from the inside, what to do, the actionable thing, Beth, is so little, because it's inside. And there's something simple about how your inside system works. It has flow to it. Your thoughts are moving, passing across like the clouds passing across the sun. Your feelings go with them, because your feelings are just the energy of thought taking form in your body. So there's so little to do. For me, it's often something around stopping, something around pausing, something around taking a break. It's something around self-care. It may be, sorry, my back's just twinging, that's better. It's something around, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? What do I hear that I need right now? Like, on the times when this woman's message, and I have seen it, I have seen that I'm in an amber warning light state, I just have a tendency to put my phone down. And it's almost like there's a little voice in my head saying, Claire, put your phone down. Please put your phone. Don't reply. Didn't see it yesterday morning. And sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. And who knows what the variable is there, probably just how poor our state of mind is. How frustrated we are, how triggered we're feeling. And I love what you said there, Lorraine. You go into flight mode, but wherever you go, there you are. Yeah, absolutely. And that's, that's kind of when Bruce and I chatted about this. That's what we were seeing. That the likelihood of this woman changing her behaviour is small. She's, when Bruce reflects on their relationship, they did have one that had managed to produce a child. He says, looking back, it's been like this for as long as he's known her, so probably longer. But it's what we do about us. And really, because of our psychological immune system, because we have, as I say, this system that is continually resetting. That's what it does. That's what it does all the time. There's so little for us to do. So little for us to do. Yes, Wendy, absolutely. We do. I mean, we as a couple try not to spend too much time in the future. But I was looking at I don't know if you've ever looked at the circles of control. We were looking at that this morning, and that's what we think is happening. And what will happen when he really gets into his, high school. You know what they're like when he's 11, so you know what they're like when they go to secondary school or high school. They're, within weeks, they're different, aren't they? When they're getting the bus to school and back, they've got all this independence, they're making their own decisions more of the time. They change very quickly. And, they have old kids tend to become teenagers at a very young age these days, don't they? So, but then that's what that will be. And all we can do is stay as much as possible to, as much as possible to make sure that we are in the calmest, best response. So that we are responding always from a space of grief. Always. To the situation, to Ethan, to her, to all of it. And that's all we can actually have agency over. That's the other thing about, if we really caught up in the idea of triggers and them coming from the outside, we will keep fighting with the outside world and trying to force it to change. And then we're in a place of control, Wendy, aren't we? Yeah, Wendy, I like that. You found it so much easier to deal with your ex when your son got old enough to make the choices and calls himself. Yeah, we're finding it a bit easier now. Ethan's got his own phone. That's made a big difference. Because Bruce couldn't even have a phone call with Ethan without her stood behind Ethan, telling him what to say, handing him notes, telling him what he needed to say. Not easy. So, Aline, is that how we say your name? What a lovely name. I was so triggered this week. Now the threat is less urgent and I'm so tired. Oh, bless you, Aline. I hope you find this helpful. I really hope you find this session helpful. And, if you do want to reach out for a call, then my diary is open and the link is on my bio. So, and that's for everybody here who wants to talk about something more deeply. Elena, you are right. She could benefit from the 3 principles, and that's not my job. I did in the early days of this went, oh my God, this could change everything. If she just understood the 3 principles, she'd be reasonable and not be a control freak. You'd have a wonderful life. And it's not selfish, but it's seeing that the whole flipping thing is being created by us. All of it. That's it. It's all us. Those people are not doing that to us. Yeah, Wendy, control is the thing, and then sometimes I can really get into a place of compassion. Tend to flow in and out of that one because I can see that's what I was like. And I can see that sometimes I'm still there. It still looks like if she just stopped doing this, we could be okay. Bruce and I could have a lovely life. A lovely, happy life. If she just stopped it. But I remember in the run-up to burnout, for me, that was so pivotal. The control. I was like some lunatic playing whack-a-mole. It had about 100 heads bobbing up, and I kept trying to bang them all down. And I was exhausted by it, by trying to control the outside world. So I can relate to it, really relate to it. So, oh, Violet's gone now, but hopefully she's going to tell me how to do Insight Time with Zoom. I'm so excited. I love a bit of technology, doing magical things. I really do. You're welcome, Elaine. That's lovely. Hannah, I'm so glad you're finding it helpful. You find yourself triggered lately due to PTSD. Well, lots of love, Hannah, as always, about a person from the past. So I guess, Hannah, you know, like, I guess what I would say to you around that is, first of all, lots of love, and I'm sorry to hear that. But also, like, what? You know, when you're in that place of reaction, when you're in that triggered feeling, what makes sense to do to take care of you? I mean, that's it, isn't it? If we just take all the outside stuff, the person from the past, the thing, the what's it, the ex, Bruce's ex, and we just pop all that over there and go, that I can't change that. I can't do anything about that. It's almost that. It's almost like if I stop looking at that for the solution, the past, the ex, the blah blah blah, then I come back to me and go, what do I need? What do I need now? How do I take care of myself? While ever we're looking over here to this pile of other people's nonsense or the past or anything else that we think might be triggering us that's outside. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. The answer just isn't there. So we can look and look and look and we'll never find it. And when we're exhausted, I think that's when it falls away. And then we go back to calm. We almost tire ourselves out. I think maybe for you, Elaine, that's it for you. You will be tired. We will get tired if we are looking in the thing that we think is the trigger for the answer. If we look, even if we're just looking in that direction, we're looking in the wrong direction. So we tire ourselves out doing that because we're looking in the wrong way. We're looking the wrong way. It's like if you set off on a journey and you're sat, you know, we've just been to Aberdeen, so we've put into the sat nav where we want it to be today, in Yorkshire, near York, and we set off. Now, if we had kept at every roundabout turning around and going back and turning around and going back, just to see if we can find the place where we want to be in the opposite direction to where it actually is, Bruce would have been absolutely shattered. We both would have been shattered, upset, and in a state from looking, going the wrong way, just going the wrong way and going. The sat nav would have been shouting at us and saying, "You need to turn around. You need to turn around." And that's what your body's doing. Your body's saying, "You need to turn around. Turn around now. Turn around and go the other way." But we don't hear it, and so we keep going the wrong way. We keep going the wrong way. We keep going the wrong way. The sat nav's bleeping away, shouting at us. We're getting tireder and tireder because we're looking the wrong direction. And then maybe what happens is, in the end, we're just so tired that we kind of accidentally end up back going the right direction, back to calm. We stop fighting. We can't fight anymore because we're too tired. We're too tired of looking in the wrong direction. And I know for some of us And I say us because it was me too for many years. We've looked in the wrong direction for years. Kept trying to sort it all out in the outside world. Again and again and again. All the time, our body, our sensations and our body are screaming at us and saying, you're going the wrong way. You're already home. There isn't anywhere to get to. You're already here. But it's easily done. And you know, Sunita, when you say you get triggered easily, all of us do. I really do think that over time in this conversation it happens less often and with less intensity. But sometimes, just like yesterday morning, we all get lost. We all get lost. We all forget. And that's why these sessions and the other content I've got on here are so helpful. And you can, go into those courses, and I have checked with Insight Timer. Once you've listened to them, you can listen to them again and again. And that's what I really do advise people to do, because it is in the listening and the listening and again that we will see more and more and more. And we all get triggered. We all experience those triggering feelings. It's just part of being human. But the thing is how we see the trigger. This is not about stopping them forever. That's not your job. It's not your job to do that. This is about you seeing them as a piece of beautiful information, a warning that you're going in the wrong direction. A signal to let you know to be with yourself. And, it's something I see sometimes and I don't see other times. Sometimes I'm, hey, hello, I can see you, you little trigger monster. I can see you. And I know to stop, I know to pause, I know to take a breath, I know to leave the outside thing away, put it away for a while. Because like the line that said, now the threat seems less urgent and you're tired. Isn't it funny how when you put something to one side for a while and then you come back to it, you just go, what, what a ridiculous overreaction. We can see that when we can see it. And we can't when we can't. And that's okay. Yes, Carol, that's beautiful. The triggers are like a surprise. They're a surprise, aren't they? Not like a nice present-y kind of surprise. Yeah. And all we have to do is relate to that surprise differently so that we do respond and not react. And what I'm noticing, like you say, Carol, we're always learning and always growing into a better space, that over time I see it differently all the time. All the time. And that's powerful. It really is. So Sunita, bless you. Very tired of life altogether, really, with everything. When you're on holiday, that's the only good time. You forget everything as you are in a different environment. Well, it's nothing to do with the environment, Sunita. It's because you like holidays more than the rest of life. But the environment isn't making you feel anything. And I'm sorry you're feeling that way, and I'm not discounting how you're feeling. Beautifully put, Wendy. Like the feeling. It's interesting, isn't it? The feeling of holiday. Like Wendy says, you can bring that feeling home. It's in you. Because if you notice, you probably, if you do who does a 9 to 5 job? Like, I haven't done one of those for a long time. Not that my job as a teacher was ever 9 to 5, blimey. I wish. It's a little few more hours than that. But if you notice that thing, how who's had the Sunday night blues? You know, day before you go back to work on a Monday. Or it like just moves to Monday night if it's a bank holiday Monday, doesn't it? It just moves about. But we've all experienced that Sunday night feeling. We're not at work. So could you explain to me how work is making us feel that way? Can't be, because you're not there. Time travelling work, perhaps? It isn't work, it can't be. But have you noticed that comes about because we're thinking about work in a not very nice way? We're dreading it, aren't we? We've got all this stuff in our head that we need to do. We feel overwhelmed. We're thinking about the meeting with the dreaded client or the annoying boss or whoever during the week. And we're getting ahead of ourselves and feeling rubbish. But have you noticed how the same thing happens on a Friday afternoon, but in reverse? So on a Friday afternoon, you're doing exactly the same job with the exact same annoying boss, with the exact same loud and smelly colleague, let's say that, perhaps. And you've got the same amount of work, tons of it. And yet your mind is starting to drift into the weekend a little bit. So your mind is going, oh, what have I got on the weekend? I've got some nice things. I'm going to see some people I love. I'm going to go out. Oh, it looks like the weather's going to be nice the weekend. Blah, blah, blah. And suddenly you've got this lighter feeling about work. Oh, it's all right, this. Getting through my emails. You're like tapping away and it's all light. And it all just seems easier, doesn't it? So it can't be work, can it? If it was work, you would just feel awful the whole time you're at work. Because the other thing is, you don't feel awful all the time you're at work, do you? Work can't be triggering you. And work's just a microcosm of everything else. It's just an example of the whole inside-out paradigm. All of it. It's all inside out. All of it. And that's it's just seeing that, Sunita. Just getting curious, and I think that's it, that the place of openness and curious is really important. Where we just kind of go, hang on a minute. Like with our reaction yesterday morning, as I calmed down, there was more of a hang on a minute, what is there to see about this? Where are we outside in this scenario? And that's lovely, Wendy, and I love how you're supporting Sunita too. It's the way you see the different environment. Start seeing the rest of your life that way, with those eyes. It's possible with the inside out way. Yeah. And that's what happens automatically once you. I think the first thing is to just accept it, to just go, okay, enough people are pointing this way, enough people, some of the things they're saying make sense. And then even with the most tricky situations, like Wendy Wu said, controlling exes, you can just start to go, hang on a minute, what is going on in us about this, and to have that reflection and see that, that the trigger for us was we don't like to be told what to do. Years of those decisions in life that Bruce and I have made to avoid being told what to do. And then we're thrust back into a situation where somebody's telling us what to do. And not liking it one bit. So Hannah, you spend a lot of time just dissociating and escaping how you're feeling rather than being present in it. Feels scary at first, but actually it's less impactful than being present. Absolutely, Hannah. I love that. And for me, these days, there's nothing really to do about that, but there's some things to see. We don't have to force ourselves to be present. But running away from feeling fearful our feelings is because we misunderstand them. And once we understand them, it makes more sense to be okay with them. I want them to be okay with all our experience. And then we can have it, like you can watch, I'm going to say a scary movie, but I would never watch a scary movie. I'm just not a scary movie person. But I can watch a sad movie. I can watch one of those, proper tear-jerking, sad stories. And I can cry and be in that beautiful emotion and enjoy the crying and enjoy the journey and know that I'm okay. You're supposed to feel. None of this is about, like Hannah says, you're supposed to feel. But when you relate your feelings in a different way, there isn't anything to do about them anyway. There's nothing to do. They're just passing through, giving you a nudge on the way to let you know about your state of mind. They really are just passing through. And it's really powerful when you see them. See that flow. See how something. Yeah, I really saw it in Sophie when she, her boyfriend split up with her, my daughter's boyfriend split up with her, and I really saw it. I really saw this flowing process that, the circumstances were, the same, and how she's come to terms with it and is moving forward, and yeah, she's just been amazing. Kind of makes me hope she's picked up a little bit of this while I've been on this journey, because taught her a little bit about it, but she's never really read anything or done anything. But I do think that young people have got less triggers because they just haven't experienced quite so many things that we have. They've got less thinking about the world. She's I think I've been more angry with him than her. She's been so measured about it. It's unbelievable. She's been amazing, bless her. Get to see her tomorrow. That's going to be nice. I'm looking forward to that. Wendy, that's a lovely message. That's Anita. Yeah. I believe in all of you. I just believe that we're all amazing, really. even Sarah. It's also interesting. So has anybody got anything else? I can see that I've not said hello much for a really long time, so I'm going to say hello to lots of lovely faces I can see bobbing along. I can see lots of familiar faces, but I'm fairly sure I can see some new faces too. Yeah, I see that there's 168 people being in this session, which is lovely. Say hello. Say hello and let me know if you're new. It's always good to hear if there's anything about this that's resonating and making sense, or anything that's not. Who's this crazy woman who's telling me that my feelings don't come from the outside world? They quite clearly come from that you-know-what who's doing that thing I don't like. Me too, some of the time. Me too, some of the time. Definitely. Oh, thank you. Do you know what, Carol? I love that. He says, you are softening up. You see the smile coming back. You're wonderful, and so is Bruce. Oh, bless you. Oh, yeah, we do like to have a laugh, don't we? But yeah, I feel a softening happening. I feel a softening happening in me. It's really funny because it's just, there's no predictability about it. And actually, that's something to share with you because I chat to people all the time about this understanding and working with them and how it's going to be helpful. And it's just, I say to people, I've started saying to people, it's just a nice conversation. It's a pleasant experience. The likelihood is that it's going to make you feel better about life. And but when that's one of the things I really found significant when I came into this conversation was that I don't think I had any expectations. I don't think I had any expectations. I think the expectations were, well, the sense was that it's just a really interesting conversation about human beings and how they work. And then I just, for a while, I just stopped. Well, after a while, I just stopped doing all the fixing Claire things. I stopped focusing so much on Claire and what my things wrong with me were. And after a while, I just noticed that they fell away. The Claire things, the Claire bits. And I wasn't doing anything about that. And like so beautifully Carol said, thank you, Carol, that there's a softening. Like I feel that today. A sense that, something else is falling away, but I haven't done that. I've not done a repeated affirmation or done more journaling or meditated more or done anything really. Just kept being in this conversation, listening to it, talking about it, sometimes writing about it. Interestingly, my really formal coaching and mentoring course that I'm doing at the moment, like a proper degree level qualification in coaching and mentoring, to go alongside all my other, I like a certificate. I'm just enjoying it so much, and I thought, oh gosh, it's a bit too formal this. I don't think it'll suit my intuitive way of working, but actually, it's bringing so much more to my practice than I ever thought it would. So I'm now seeing I'm working with people in a different way again. And it's exciting to see that. So Lisa, bless you. So much of what Sunita said has spoken to you. I feel like that often. Oh, thank you, Sunita. I'm glad I'm here too. I'm so glad it's helping you. And I'm so sorry you're having a rough day, Lisa. Lots of love. If you if you want to talk, Lisa, drop me a message. Message me on here. Message me in the Powered by Calm group. Shall I pop that in the chat? You can ask me questions there. You can talk to me about things. So, yeah, Sunita, I would say you're definitely not the only one feeling it. We all feel it sometimes. And I sometimes think that if we could just have one day when everybody's thoughts were like little ticker tape going across their head, and then everybody's feelings were like, the washing machine window, and just for a day we could see what everybody else had going on, we would breathe a sigh of relief because we would see that everybody's having the same stuff going on, the same kind of confusion and suffering and everything else. It's, we're all being human. So lots of love to all of you who are feeling that way. Yeah, Carol, I agree that, I love helping people, and I know that the more I speak about this, the more it helps me, definitely. Oh, Lisa, I'm so sorry to read that. I'm so sorry. That grief's it too is a flow, and there'll be pain, and then there'll be easier days and harder days, and there's no right way to do that. So lots of love. Lots of love. I think there's lots of love in the room for you, Lisa, definitely. Lots and lots of love, and love to Melissa as well. I love that we're all kind of saying to each other that we can support each other. We can all say that we're. Oh, thank you, Eleanor. Enjoy the rest of your day too. We can all just say that we're all there. We've all been there. We'll all be there again. Some of us might temporarily not be there, but that's the thing to see, that it's all temporary. The pain, the suffering, it's all transient. It's not who you are. You do not become your suffering. You do not become your triggers. It's not who you really are. And that's so powerful to see. Really is really powerful to see. Yeah, lots of love. Thank you, Carol. Lots of love to you too. I think we are. Is there anything else anybody else wants to share today? If not, we can gently draw it to a close soon, just to say that I can see there are lots of lovely faces bobbing around at the bottom, some of whom I recognise, some I think are quite new to this. If you would like to follow me, that would be an absolute privilege. I'd love to see you there. I think I'm getting close to 1,700 followers now, which is nice. There'll be sessions. There are sessions like this every week. They seem to be getting longer and longer, which is fine because I love it. Got a silly. Let's get onto my profile. Oh no, I have reached 1.7 thousand followers. That's good. Oh, I love that, Mick. A funeral where the vicar said, "This is not the time for a stiff upper lip. Allow your emotions to flow." Absolutely. What is the alternative to that? Who? I mean, yeah, stiff upper lip is not a good thing, is it? And Brits are particularly shoddy at that. We particularly tend to take on that way of being in life. That's brilliant. I'm glad to hear that. I think I hear little moments of that kind of thing from people. Oh, Yorkshire as well, Mick. Blimey, a Yorkshire vicar saying it's not the time for stiff upper lip. What the heck? That's unbelievable. I didn't realise you were in Yorkshire, Mick. Are we far away from each other? I'm Yorkshire born and bred. Or are you not in Yorkshire anymore? Anyway, yeah, that's where I'm in Yorkshire right now, but I'm going to be in a different part of Yorkshire later today. Thank goodness. Thank you so much, Lorraine. Thank you so much, everyone. So please do go and follow me. Oh yes, Todmorden, I think you've said before, we like Hebden Bridge. We should have a coffee sometime, Nick, in Hebden Bridge. It's only a hop, skip and a jump on a train from New Pudsey Station. So please do hop onto my profile and follow me. That way you get to find out when I share new sessions. I've already booked in 2 for next week, 3:50 p.m. BST, because I'm in the UK, on Monday and Tuesday. That will be episode 6 and 7 of Sustainable Calm. Don't know what I'm going to explore yet. I think these sessions are flowing more because they're coming just from my intuition, just from the sort of present moment. And I'm feeling more connected to the words and what I'm delivering than planning them so far ahead. So that's why the titles tend to emerge on the day. I think last week one of them emerged about half an hour before the actual session. So thank you so much, everyone. 180 people. That's just amazing. Lots of love to everyone. Remember that, you can reach out to me. Somebody said to me the other day, I feel like I'm on a call with a celebrity, and I am not a celebrity. I'm just a normal kind of gal. And I'm happy to talk to anyone. So please do reach out if you're struggling, and I will try to help. So lots of love to all of you. And I hope to see some of you again soon. Remember that the courses are available, and also that this session is brought to you by donations. So if you are able to support me and Insight Timer, then I will be truly grateful on my behalf and on Insight Timer's behalf. So lots of love. Take care. Have an absolutely wonderful weekend, and I will hopefully see many of you on Monday.